Okay, we're talking about company cultures and maintaining company cultures. One of the jobs of the CEO or top management is to create and maintain organizational culture. The primary source of organizational culture is company founder. One of the stories that we know from Walmart, Sam Walton, I think was the company founder. He told his exec staff that they shouldn't have to buy pens in the office because they travel enough where they should be getting pens from their hotels. That's the story that they pass along, saying, wow, Sam was very, very cheap. And two, why was he cheap? Well, he was cheap because he wanted to save as much money as he could to pass that savings along to his customers so that they could save money and have a higher standard of living. So when we're trying to support a certain company culture, we look for stories and we look for heroes that we can continue to talk about to underline what we think is important about our culture. Another example would be a Nordstrom clerk. He's sitting there at the service desk, and this old lady comes in with jumper cables and says, "Here, I need to return these jumper cables. I don't need them." He looks at her, he looks at the jumper cables. He knows that Nordstrom doesn't sell jumper cables. But he smiles and says, "I will be happy to help you." And he looks it up, finds out how much those jumper cables probably cost, and gives her the money and takes the cables. And this is a story that they perpetuate. Now this clerk becomes a hero, saying, this is what we mean by good customer service. This is what we're striving for. So we're going to get into some of the keys of organizational culture. Being consistent. If I say that I have an open door policy, and if you have a complaint, you come in, there won't be any repercussions, you need to be consistent about that. We also want a clear mission. We need, meaning that this is what we do, and this is why we do it, and everything we do is consistent towards making that happen. We want employees involved, and some of that is making them heroes or having them find heroes in the system. So even though my hourly employee works night shifts, his boss notices something that he's doing that is important to the company culture. When they go to the management meeting, he tells everyone about this employee and how he's involved in the company culture and sustaining it. Right, so it reaffirms to the other managers that this is what we're looking out for. Now, adaptability means that we might think that our company culture is one thing, and after a while we realize that's not quite what we want, and so we'll move it, and that's okay, right? Anyway, let's go on. This is a book that I really, really like. So part of my job at times is to funnel my students to books and resources that I think will be good for them, right? And let me see if I can do this a little bit better. Making it stick. Made to stick. So I read this so I figure out how to help you guys learn better. So we want, whatever we're trying to explain, we want to find the core idea and make it simple. So this is part of the idea of when we're developing our company culture, we want the core ideas of that culture simple, right? We can also tell stories that might be unexpected, like the Nordstrom story. Who pays for something that we don't sell? How do I allow you to return something that we don't sell? It's unexpected. It helps you remember it. Or the Walmart story. Who says we're not going to buy pens because you should be getting them from the hotels you stay at? Concrete. Make sure an idea can be grasped and remembered. If it's too technical, right? So if I'm putting out a company culture and it's too technical, then it's going to be hard to remember and hard to act on. Credible. Give an idea of believability. I'll get to this later. Emotional. Helps people see the importance of an idea. And then we have stories that empower people to use the ideas in narratives. Well, stories help us, right? The importance of myth. That's another one by Campbell. Okay, so what is this? Let me see if I can bring it so you guys can see it. It's not the used football stadium. It's so big that it actually must be, I would say, a soccer stadium, and it holds about 100,000 people. So one of the things when I was that I really appreciated about working at Varian Medical Systems is the CEO had a picture of himself in a stadium like this. And so we see him and we see all the empty seats around him. And he says that our mission at Varian is to save 100,000 more lives each year. And we're going to do that by our innovation. And Varian's all about fighting cancer. So they have all sorts of cancer treatment facilities. In fact, they wanted to own, facilities that treat them chemically, proton therapy, radiation therapy. Varian fights cancer, and the mission of Varian is to save 100,000 more lives every year, which is astounding, right? But when we look back at this idea, is that simple? Well, yeah. Is it concrete? For sure. Is it unexpected? Yeah, I didn't really know. I mean, I had been working there for 2 years, and when they came out with this mission statement, it was a little unexpected. I knew what we did, but it really grabbed my attention. Oh, that's what we're doing, and we had a employee base of about 6,000. So if we're really saving 100,000 more lives every year, that means that I was saving, I don't know, 100,000 divided by 6 is 2,000 lives, 2,500. I don't know. You guys do the math, but it was a lot. I mean, by working at Varian, I was becoming like a superhero, Superman. I'm saving lives, doing better than Superman. I don't think he saved 2,000 lives a year. Anyway, so unexpected, right? Concrete. We talked about it. Credible. Is it believable? Well, after I thought about it, yeah, I see how we're doing it, right? And that's awesome. Is it emotional? Especially with that picture. Thinking of that stadium filled with people who are living because of the work that we're doing is amazing. And then they could back it up with telling stories about how our equipment helped this person, or our equipment helped another person. Culture. One of the things that we need to do when we're looking at promoting a certain culture is making sure that the culture that we're pushing, that we have, they say, symbolic artifacts to show how serious we are about the culture. So we'd see pictures of that stadium around the office. So that's a symbolic artifact that underlines our desire to save people's lives. One of the things that we need to make sure is that not only are we seeing that and we're hearing that, but we believe it. One of the problems at Varian is, so that's our goal, save 100,000 more lives every year. Now, we need to be consistent, right? That's one of the keys of culture in doing so. Well, when the CEO came to visit us, he came in a private jet. Now, does owning a private jet, private company jet, right? Does that help save more lives? So when we say consistent, if that's our main mission, that's our goal, and our culture's surrounding that goal and that mission, then every decision that we make needs to be based off of that. And when they start making decisions like buying a new company jet that's not consistent with our goals or our mission or our culture, then it undermines it. So I'll put this slide up there. It's in your book. There's ways that we help people adapt to new culture or to change. Behavior addition is we ask them to, when you pick up the phone, smile before you start talking, because people can tell That might be a behavior addition. Behavior substitution means that you're doing this. So addition is you're doing this, we want you to continue to do that and do this other thing, like smile. Behavior substitution would be you're doing this and we want you to do this instead. Change visible artifacts. Kind of talked about how important artifacts are around. And then hiring people with values and beliefs consistent with our desired culture. That video, the TED Talk video that I'm having you guys watch, talks a lot about that. And it's really important. And it also has a great formula for figuring out what you want your company culture to be. Awesome talk. One thing I need to really help you understand or emphasize or whatever you want to call it is that it's not a guarantee. You can do all these things to the best of your ability and you might not be able to change your company culture. Sometimes it takes a lot of change in employees. Sometimes it takes a change in your own outlook. So it's not guaranteed, but if you can match the company with a good culture, we know statistically you're going to perform better. And, return on investment, all that. All those business things that we're looking for are related directly to a solid, good company culture. So my video of my talking head is off. I don't know, it's been weird today. Sorry about that. But there we are. We're at the end of chapter 3.